Good morning. It's been a while. Well, today I'm taking you to Logan Peak. We're here in Logan, Cache Valley. I love hiking in Cache Valley. The trails don't seem to be as crowded and they have some really beautiful areas here. So come along with me today as I take you up to Logan Peak. So I'm starting today's hike in the dry canyon trailhead. It kind of runs along with Logan Canyon. It's to the south of Logan Canyon, over by the university. It lives up to its name. It is very dry through here until we get up a little bit higher. There's a natural spring and it's kind of green and lush for a little while. Gee, it's been a while since I've done one of these. I keep on drawing a blank. Anyways, we're gonna head up Dry Canyon for a while. Once we get into some cool stuff, I'll show you the views. We want to get up and out as quick as possible. It's gonna hit like 99 degrees today, so I didn't start too early, but early enough that it's still kind of cool. We'll be coming down in the heat, but I can deal with the heat on the way down a lot better. So let's get going. So that gate's there because they do run cattle. This is public land. They don't run it every year, but most years they have cattle kind of up on the ridge where the spring is. But this is kind of a cool little camp in a rocky area. My kids used to love to climb that. So we're just over a mile into it, and already the environment has started to change. We have a little bit more mature scrub oak. We're starting to get a mix of aspen, and up on the ridges we're starting to get some pine. So you can tell it's starting to open up a little bit more now. We're getting into more of a meadow area. So you get about a mile. That was a mile section of the really shaded forest area. But I know once we get into this meadow, after that we're gonna start getting some good elevation gain, and it will open up and we'll be able to see some great views of Logan, hopefully, if some of the smoke has cleared out. So this meadow section that is about to end was just over probably half a mile, and it was beautiful. The sun's starting to peek through the trees. Just a gorgeous section, but we're almost ready to start climbing. So this meadow, we're about to meet the junction. The junction is with it's called the Syncline Trail. That's going to be the junction where the two trails meet up. In fact, here we go. This seems to be where the cows bed down. There's a lot of flies through here. The cows are close. I can hear them in the distance. And yeah, there's a lot of that on the ground as well. So about 3 3/4 of a mile in, you'll hit the Syncline Junction. And that one will connect with, it actually goes all the way along the canyon and over to the Spring Hollow Trail, which will take you down to Spring Hollow Campground, which if you have watched any of my videos, that is where we start the Crimson Trail. So, kind of cool to have done a lot of this. But we're about to get up here into the open area and do another climb. We're getting close, but this part I don't like as much. It is exposed. It's hot, and we're gonna just try to push through it as quick as possible. All right, we'll talk to you then. So this is a sneaky junction. You're not on the Syncline Trail very long before you come up to the junction. There used to be cairns to mark it, but as you can tell, people keep on knocking the cairn down because they think it's rock stacking instead of what a cairn was intended for, which was to mark a junction in a trail. So here it is. It's real quick right after that little patch of trees right here. There's a little turnoff that starts cutting back to the east across this exposed ridge. Really wish people would learn the difference between cairns and rock stacking. All right, we're done with that exposed face area, which was that way. And now the trail is going to cut through the trees here and take us all the way over to that ridge on the other side. I personally think it's unnecessary. The peak is right behind that pine tree. And normally I would probably cut up through the trees. There's a nice opening all the way to the peak is where I would go. But this will be my path off. The trail goes right by the ridge line. If we just would have cut right there and went up through those pines, boom. All right, that's what we cut across. And now, as I said, we got to take that road up to the towers there. All right, so that trail was almost exactly 6 miles and 4,300 feet in elevation. That was the road that we finally came up. Now we are going to drop down through the trees and we're going to try to catch that ridge over there. It's pretty fun. All right, little touch of snow if you saw over there. Last remaining bit of snow. Beautiful area as you saw. But I need to get off this mountain. It's starting to get hot. That's the ridge we came down. Kind of got, there's a big canyon right there. You got to kind of go around it. But if you follow this ridge line, don't forget you have a couple more humps to climb to get out. So don't think your climbing is over with. I think it's worth it. So if you come up here in early spring, these ridges will have huge cornices hanging off of them. That's a gorgeous canyon. All those wildflowers in the bottom. Probably can't see it. So straight north across Logan Canyon, that big long ridge, that peak out there is called Berdno, and that's one that I've done a video on. That was a fun hike. Comes off of the Wind Caves trail. Ah, look, a real cairn. That is the Utah state flower, seagull lily. All right, we are on the downside of the ridge. If you see that plateau out there, I don't know if you can, but there, if you follow the syncline trail around, you can actually take the trail out to that cliff area. All right, so this would be the last of the ridge if you want to end up following it out. I am running out of water, so I'm gonna cut down to the trail right over here and try to catch the spring real quick. So I'm not gonna mess with the rest of the ridge, but it's kind of fun if you like doing rock scrambles. Here is where we're headed down, this rocky area there. You can see in the distance the trail cuts across, runs across the valley. The spring should be right in here somewhere. All right, I made it off the mountain there, and this is the spring. Kind of a trickle, but they're piping it right out of the ground. You can see the cows definitely hang out here. But that'll do. So maybe 200 feet from the spring, they have this nice little camp spot and shade. And I'm gonna take a little break right here, maybe grab a bite to eat. So, kind of nice to know. Really would be a beautiful spot to camp. All right, I just made it through the cow pie landfill and I did not come out unscathed. New shoes. I got a big old nasty spot on my shoe. But I'm about to drop down into the meadow and I just wanted to give you one last look of the area. And remind you, don't just look at the views, become part of them. Y'all take care. All right, that wraps up the Dry Canyon to Logan Peak hike. Ended up being 12.53 miles and 4,550 feet of elevation gain. I think it was worth it doing that little side trip across the ridge. That's where I was able to catch all the wildflowers. But I should have brought another bottle of water. Normally I wouldn't hike this one. I would only hike this one in the spring or fall. It really is kind of a hot trail, but anyway, it was fun, well worth it, and I hope you enjoy. Take care.